I am Noriko Bullful, no bull for short, and this is Uncut News. Today was the big day. Guyana appeared before the International Court of Justice. Today's hearing is for the sole purpose of addressing the question of whether the court has the authority to resolve the dispute between Guyana and Venezuela over the validity of the boundary between the two states, which has been permanently fixed since 1899. The issue was referred to the International Court of Justice by the United Nations Secretary General after decades of negotiations ending in deadlock. The ICJ's final judgment will be legally binding on Guyana and Venezuela whether or not Venezuela participates in the proceedings. And a day before the ICJ hearing, former Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenwich said that Guyana needs the assistance of the international community in defending its territorial sovereignty. He went further to deem attacks on the international bodies who pronounced on the ongoing elections as inappropriate. Greenwich also recalled that Guyana was one of the loudest critics of South Africa's apartheid government. He also noted that a country's sovereignty needs to be very clearly separated from the action of any political party. In what is probably the dumbest and most pointless story I'll ever report on this channel, Lolita Calendar, also known as Lola Doll, has completed paying her court-ordered damages to fellow makeup artist Anika Pompey. In what was dubbed the, quote, case of the missing edges, in December last, Calendar was found guilty of assaulting and inflicting bodily harm on Pompey during a fight on Leopold Street, Georgetown. The two women agreed on $800,000 compensation, which Calendar began paying in installments of $200,000 in February. $800,000? You know, $800,000 is a nice down payment on a car. And speaking of cars, BM-SOT is one of the leading auto sales companies in Guyana. With them, you can benefit from in-house financing with low down payments and a 4-year payback period, or 1 year to pay the cash price. For right-of-way approval, go get your ID or passport, TIN certificate, and your proof of income and pick up this 2016 Mazda SLR at Lot 9 Crow Street, Georgetown, or give them a call on telephone number 231-8451. BM-SOT Auto Sales, it's your turn to drive. Colonel Godfrey Bess has been appointed to the position of Chief of Staff of the GDF. He will be taking the post up after current Chief of Staff, Brigadier Patrick West, proceeds on accumulated leave July 1st. His leave will end March 2021. Brigadier West, who is now 54 years old, served as the nation's 10th Chief of Staff. A labourer who reportedly set himself on fire on Thursday last has died. He has been identified as 34-year-old Naresh Rampersad of Port Morant Quarantine Police. He was rushed to the Port Morant Hospital and subsequently transferred to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital and admitted in a critical state. He died a day later. It is believed that he had long struggled with mental illness. According to his wife, he was recently released from the National Psych Hospital in February after repeated suicide attempts. Please, people, depression is real. If you love your family, don't ignore the warning signs. The Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association is calling on the government to save our sugar state. The GMSA is concerned over the lack of adequate molasses to supply the local rum industry. DDL reports that it has had to import molasses over the past 2 years following the closure of 4 state-owned sugar estates in 2017. The association believes the downscaling of the sugar industry has had dire consequences to the economy and other sectors which depend on the industry. Please for a thumbs up if you enjoy watching this daily newscast. Don't be mean, press like. Now here's some more bad news for you big money fat cat landowners in Georgetown. City Hall is saying run them pockets. A notice published in the Official Gazette on Saturday says that the City Hall is raising residential and commercial property rates by 10% in effect from January 2017. However, when he was asked about this increase, iNews reports that Mayor Ubraj Narain was unaware of the change. Interpret that story however you like. As of Monday, Region 9 has recorded its third case of the Rona. According to the newsroom, the third male patient also has citizenship in Brazil, where he spent some time before returning to Guyana in June and was placed in quarantine. Recently, 2 students, 10 years old, who returned from Brazil to write the NGSA tested positive after a period of institutional quarantine. According to a regional health official, it is difficult to control cross-border movements in this area, as it is common for Guyanese to work in Brazil and Brazilians to find work in Guyana. While it has yet to be announced, a viewer submitted a video that shows that they are not taking any chances at the Eugene F. Correa International Airport, with officers disinfecting the luggage of incoming passengers. It should be noted that Brazil has the second highest number of confirmed cases in the world after Trumpistan, I mean the United States. Imagine! Your wife is giving you blow with the car you bought her, and you want a divorce, but you have no proof. That's because you didn't install a GPS tracker like I told you to. Thankfully, you can borrow the car and go to Triple B's and get the hookup. Don't accept buttered buns. Call them on telephone number 682-8326 for more info. Don't wait, call them now. And now for our weird story of the day. This time, it's local. Ever had a boss that cheated you out of your pay? Of course you have. Everyone has. Haha. But apparently, these 3 gold miners got arrested after they took the matter into their own hands. But instead of doing like most people and taking it to Facebook or maybe even the Ministry of Labor, they decided to beat the stuffing out of their elderly boss. 20-year-old Christopher James, 19-year-old Jermaine Melville, and 23-year-old Delon Benjamin admitted that they assaulted and robbed their employer, 62-year-old Adam De Silva, of 14.2 pennyweights of raw gold. This was after they confronted the man about the unpaid wages. The beating occurred on Friday at Sandhill Landing in Region 7. De Silva suffered a fractured leg and multiple lacerations about his body, while the trio were remanded to prison until July 27. And now it's time for our Uncut News Viewers Poll Question. How fun. Each week, we will pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So, you give your responses in the comments and we will read the best one on tomorrow's episode. This week's question is: the Caribbean Court of Justice will hear the appeal filed by the PPP challenging the jurisdiction of the Court of Appeal to hear the motion filed by private citizen Eslyn David. With all of this in mind, I want to know, how do you feel the CCJ will rule on this case? Will they rule in favor of APNU or the PPP? And why do you think so? Well, here's what you all had to say. Hashim Ali says, and you know what? Based on what the past year and a half looked like, I'm inclined to agree with you, Hashim. And here's another point of view. This one from Rochelle Neblet. Interesting indeed. And finally, here's Nicola. And you know what? Me too, Nicola. Me too. These are some great responses thus far. Keep them coming, folks. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight's episode. Check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I am Noriko Bulford saying good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.